Hey everyone. I have some information I'd like to share with you about the whole Russia and Ukraine thing. And please excuse me, today I'm still dealing with coming out of, it's like a drunken stupor, dizziness, stuff like that. Earlier this morning I had an EGD stomach thing done, and so I feel dizzy and a little loopy, but I really do need to make several videos, and I'm working on a video. It's a long, very detailed video. It's taking a lot of time, but as soon as I'm done, I will go ahead and upload it. And I also worked on two others. I edited them, and I'd begun uploading one of them, and it took 3 days, and it was only 48% done. Then it dropped on me, and I have to start over. I have very bad internet. And so I have things I want to talk to you about. I hope that you stick around and catch those videos. Please do join me for those. Because the Lord gave me a prophetic dream on the 20th of December, then on January 5th, and then another one on January 6th. Okay? And so I have to share that information with you. But right now, I want to talk to you about Russia and Ukraine and America and China and everything. Now, I don't profess to know it all. There's a lot of things I don't know. I'm just going to tell you straight up. But I do know some things that I really want for you to know. And everybody that I have told this to, every single one that I have told this to, was just set back, like, wow. And I've had them tell me stuff along the lines of, wow, now everything makes sense when they know what I've told them. And I want to tell this to you for your consideration. And this has to do with the Cold War, economic collapse, the dollar, fiat currency, the gold-backed yuan, pipeline in Russia, Afghanistan, the Bay of Bengal, a lot of history. Stuff that's been going on since before I was even born. Okay, so let me just tell you, make it as quick as possible. Because after I tell you this, coupled with what you already know, this will make everything it'll make everything make sense so much more. Then you're going to realize with a new level of depth just how much trouble we're headed into. And that we are absolutely going to see World War III. And I have plans, Lord willing, to make videos on how to prepare for nuclear and nuclear fallout. Some things the Lord's put in my face that I've been reading on and checking on. It's amazing. And I want to share it with you because I'm going to cut it and make it real simple to understand, Lord willing. Now let me tell you. The Cold War between us and the USSR ended around 1991 or so. I was in first grade when this happened. And I remember it. But I was explained by someone from the Middle East that it was really over Russia trying to get a stable and valuable oil-backed currency. And each country has a right to do that, to have their own sovereignty. But we, America, didn't want them to have that. You see, Russia wanted to go through Afghanistan with their own oil, their own pipeline, all the way down to the Bay of Bengal. It's a very shallow ocean. And the person that informed me of this particular part of history is from Pakistan, and this would be right on their side. And they wanted to do their own pipeline. That way Russia could have an oil-backed currency and not be so vulnerable and dependent on all of America's dealings and their sanctions and their say-so. You see, Russia is massive, but a lot of it is solid frozen, can't grow food. A lot of it is forest, and it's not a place that you can really thrive. especially these last 20 years or so, things have gotten colder up there. It's a lot more colder up there. Fall season is just straight winter for them. It's getting, you know how we in America, we're getting the polar vortex and stuff. It's worse, and it's getting worse, and it's more and more people are dying every year from freezing. Fuel costs are rising. Things are very unstable and bad. So understand, Ukraine used to be a part of Russia, right? A lot of you already know, but just for the sakes of those who don't. And when we had the Cold War and everything, all that, the Berlin Wall came down, all kind of mess. And so Russia wants to take back Ukraine so that their people can move down south and be spared the harshities of the severe cold that is now and coming. See, things are going to get even more cold. And as it is, they can't grow wheat, and what they need, they can't sustain themselves. They have got to move south to survive. Russia has no future. There is no future unless they flee and come down. And you see, they're not being told that, and we're not being told that. They don't want to concern us, scare us, or make us aware of the foreplanning and foresights of what's going on worldwide with temperatures and switches and problems with climate change issues. Okay, but if Russia just flees, if people start moving south, and Russia's losing a lot of people. And most of their population, a lot of them are retiring, and there's just not enough young people to replace them. And their infrastructure's going to the pits. Don't get me started on infrastructure. We have problems in America that's so horrible, it's a shame. But Russia is going to die if they don't move south. They have got to take back Ukraine, or their people have no future. What'll happen is people are going to flee Russia, and Russia will just become less and less and less and less people, and there'll be nothing to rule. There'll be no Russia. But if Russia retakes Ukraine, it'll become Russia. And so when their people move south, they're still going to have their people and control over their people and have power and be able to function as a society. And if they get Ukraine, guess what? They're going to do their pipeline, and in less than 2 years, they're going to have an oil-backed currency, which will save their economy. They have the right to have a good economy. But here's the thing. If Russia, because they have massive hordes, loads of untapped oil reserves, a lot of oil, if they start pumping and supplying oil, guess what? It's going to interfere and mess with the cabal, the whole mess with the currency. The whole economic infrastructure that's already crumbling is going to absolutely just be set ablaze, on fire, burned, destroyed. America will absolutely have no pull and nothing, no power. We're already falling out of power. I'm sorry, I hate to say it, but it's happening. I mean, our currency is backed by imagination only, faith. Just the belief that it's worth something. People honor it, but it's only that. It's not backed by anything. You cannot take any of it to the bank and get your gold or silver's worth. It's not backed by anything. It's not redeemable by anything. Many of you know this already, especially if you've been with me a while. You already know, but a lot of people don't. So for the sakes of those who don't know, I'm saying it now. For a long time, Russia wanted to do this oil pipeline, okay? And America didn't let them. We went to war with them and shut that down. Because when I say we, I mean like Luciferians, the cabal, the globalists, whatever, they wanted the dollar just to be on the top a little bit longer. Was backed primarily by oil and whatnot. It's a dying fiat currency, but still, they didn't want Russia to put it to a premature end. They want to do that on their own terms, and we're witnessing that now. They're setting it up to completely flatline, and on their terms. Okay, it's being crashed on purpose, and it will be. We're going to see complete economic collapse, but they want it their way. They don't want some other country to come in and get powerful and then cause us to collapse. So we did the Cold War. We dismantled the USSR, basically, split it up and everything. Their currency was rapidly devalued really, really quickly. And they've been struggling and struggling ever since. And because they can't grow enough food for their own population, America had decided, well, they made so many deals. America was sending them lots and lots and lots of grain to feed them. Now, we do sanctions on other countries right now. We have a lot of sanctions. You've heard about that, right? You know about that. Well, we, didn't own up to some of our promises, and Russia over time grew more and more weaker and suffered more and more and became very upset at many broken promises and started to try to gain their own sovereignty to be able to grow their own food and have power and a decent economy and a oil-backed currency. And so then the whole war happens, and then they started doing sanctions on Russia, and it was a bunch of mess, okay? Now, meanwhile, China, now they have the gold-backed yuan, okay? And so America doesn't have their heel on China like they want. China has a powerful, real, gold-backed currency. It is available. It's not a direct threat to America unless there's another different currency that's backed by gold or its equivalent, black gold, oil. Russia wants to take Ukraine back so that they can survive, one, so that their people can move south, so they have a future, so they'll survive. But they also want to take Ukraine so that they can do their pipeline. Once Russia has a valuable, powerful, oil-backed currency, then they can trade with China, and they're both communist nations, right? They're already brothers in a lot of ways. They will become powerful. We're having us in America, where I'm at, we are having trouble with China. Trade wars, problems. China doesn't like us, and we don't like China, but China has been infiltrating, buying up our universities, buying up our ports, buying up all kind of businesses left and right, interfering with our education. They're sneaking in like snakes, and they are not friend, they're foe. We are not on good terms with China. We haven't been for a long time. China will love to invest in and be involved with Russia, trading oil with Russia. China needs oil. China needs that. And so they'll just bypass America altogether. Our dollar, everything about us here will go to the dirt. An abandoned whore. Okay, the whore of Babylon will be completely, we don't need you anymore. That's what it's going to be, basically. And then they're going to be doing their own thing. They will prosper. This is the only way Russia has a future. And you better know China will agree with Russia and do deals with Russia and kick us to the